Coming up on Oakdale Update, we'll meet two of our new council members, Jake Ingebrigtson and Colleen Swedberg. And we'll tell you about some upcoming events and important reminders. Stay tuned, Oakdale Update is straight ahead. Hello and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm your host, Frank Orsello. This is the City of Oakdale's news and information program about your community. In the last fall's election, 3 new city council members were elected: Jake Ingebrigtson, Susan Olson, and Colleen Swedberg. We want you to get to meet all of them. Susan Olson will appear in a future show, and I'll chat with Jake Ingebrigtson later in the program. Right now, I'm joined in the studio by new city council member Colleen Swedberg. Colleen, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's start out. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background.
I grew up in Washington County. I've almost lived in Washington County my whole life. I've lived the last 5.5 years in Oakdale. I was on the Park and Rec Board for 4.5 years as vice chair, and also I was part of the 2040 comprehensive plan on that special committee.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a quality manager at an aerospace and defense company in Blaine.
Oh, really? Okay. So now you have background in Parks and Recs, and what was the other thing that you did?
Yeah, the 2040 comprehensive plan.
Okay. And tell us about your experience on the Park and Rec. How was that?
Oh, that was wonderful. We are so fortunate in Oakdale to have such wonderful parks, and I use them a lot, and so do other people. I run into a lot of the same people everywhere I go. I walk the parks a lot. So they're near and dear to me. So of course, being on the city council, I will continue to support them.
Sure. So you deal with Lauren over there, the head of the...
Yep, I deal with that, and
the tree board? Are you involved with the tree board?
Yes. Now I'm the liaison for the tree board. But I know Jane. Jane is also on the Park and Rec board. Yes, so she double duties there.
And the tree board too.
Yep.
Right? Yes,
she does.
Okay. So what made you throw your hat in the ring to want to be a council person?
I think just for, like most people, they want to make a difference in the city they live. I wanted to make a positive impact and continue supporting Oakdale and have it grow in the right direction. You
say that you were born in Washington County. Were you on a farm or?
No, I was in Oak Park Heights in Stillwater. That's where I was born.
Okay. All right. So now that you're a councilwoman, what are your priorities?
Oh, we have a lot of things going on in Oakdale. So the Hadley Highway 36 interchange, that's a huge one for us. We have, of course, always public safety. We want to make sure our community feels safe. And we have the 3M housing development going on. We want to make sure that the parks and the green policy that it stays in place with that development going on.
And now that one, I just interviewed our superintendent of schools. And they're remodeling several of the schools, Castle Schools, and the other one, what was the other one? I forget. Anyway, there's another one. Anyway, but it's mostly because of that. What's happening up at the north end there.
Right.
So are you getting tuned into that, the development of the north end there?
Yes, we're going to be involved in that. So I'm really excited about that. We also have the BRT line going in. So There's just a lot going on in Oakdale.
So were you tuned into that before you became a councilwoman?
Yes, I was. Actually, I started getting exposed to that on the Park and Rec Board, and then I started attending the city council meetings before I got elected. So that helped a lot. It makes for you to be able to hit the ground running.
So, okay, so is there new parks or anything coming up in Oakdale that you know of? Or?
Well, with the 3M housing development, there's a lot of new parks. That area has a lot of green space that's going to be dedicated. So we want to make sure we do it right there. Just like the Discovery Center, the nature preserve there, which that's where I got married last year.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's important to have those areas for the people to enjoy.
Okay. So I guess I haven't kept track of how far along is the planning on that North End project? Do you know?
Well, we're working with the developer on finalizing the plans. He has submitted the plans, and now we're going back and ask for some additional changes to ensure about the green space.
Really?
Okay.
And there's going to be quite a bit of it there,
Yes,
too,
yes, there is. So that's important to, we listened to the residents, and that was very important.
That particular project is it's so unique to Oakdale.
Yes.
Because you have so many spots that are developed and
Yes.
here, there, and this is a flat, brand new
Yes.
space.
Isn't that wonderful that
So
we
you
have
better
that
You
opportunity?
better do it right, correct?
That's
I
right,
know.
that's right.
No, you have a good, you're, okay, well, that's my next question, too. Now that you're a council person, how do you get along with your fellow members? How is everything going there?
I think we have a good crew. We like to joke with each other because you have to be able to get along. So it's, I've gotten to know each of them pretty well now,
Sure.
so it's nice.
So, and the other thing is this, the staff at City Hall. Tell
Yeah.
me about them.
Oh, I think we are very fortunate in Oakdale to have a very good staff. They're very knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. They get us information that we request. So we're very fortunate to have a very experienced crew.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you're familiar with like some of the girls in the back there.
Yes.
They were apprentices here. I mean,
Yes.
they did their, well, they're getting
Oh,
their
really?
masters. And,
Yeah.
Sure. And Craig Waldron,
Oh, yeah.
got them to work here for, you know, I don't know, peanuts, I suppose. But they ended up staying
Yeah.
or getting hired.
Yes.
That is so good. And I have not run into one person up at City Hall that you have trouble dealing with.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
never. They're always so helpful. You stop in. Even before I was council person, they were helpful. So it's not just my position, it's that they're always like that.
So you've attended, what, about 2 meetings now?
Yep, yeah.
So-
Officially, I was, yeah.
How's it going?
Oh, good. There's just a lot to do there. You know, we have big packets. There's, you have to do your homework. You know, you don't just show up for the meetings. You have to read this information, get with staff with any questions you may have. So you want to be prepared when you come to the meetings.
You know, that's the other thing, you know, that there's 2 council meetings a month.
Yep, there
but
is.
It isn't just like 2 hours per time, is
No,
it?
no.
The time that you spend doing this, just the
Yes.
reading alone, right?
Yes, yes.
Packets like this?
Yes, like
correct?
100, 200 pages sometimes, so
And
it's a lot.
you have to know, too, don't you?
Yeah, you don't have to have it memorized,
No.
but you have to have a basic understanding of the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. So one last question here. We're almost out of time, but what is your what makes Oakdale such a great place?
2 things, I think, is the people, the community. They are wonderful. They do a lot of volunteers. People step up to the plate and help out so much. And then our park and recs, you know, our park and trails. It's just wonderful. We have that wonderful gems that we want to take care of and then develop more in the 3M housing development.
You know, I just had new streets redone,
Yeah.
and they put sidewalks in.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I am so impressed with sidewalks.
Yes.
I think they're just wonderful.
Yes, they've been doing a wonderful job on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And I think, well, I mean, I've been out here since it was cow country, and I used to walk in the streets. If I want to go for a walk, I'd walk in the streets and
Yes.
take my life in my hands. But
Yes.
they put sidewalks in, and they're well used, aren't they?
They are. I see them being used all the time.
Absolutely. So getting back to your parks, your position on the parks, did somebody take your place, or what happened there?
They're looking for my replacement now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, listen, we're out of time here now, and I want to thank you for joining us today, and I want to wish you best of luck. You've got
you.
a 2-year term?
4-year term.
4-year
yes,
term.
Yes, I have a 4-year.
Ooh, you got a long ways to go.
Yes, I'm excited though.
Oh, good for you. Good. We like to see the enthusiasm, and
Yep.
I think you're going to do a fine job.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
In just a few minutes, I'll be joined by another new City Council member, Jake Ingebrigtson. But first, here are some important reminders. First up is the Connecting the Generation program. The city matches up senior citizens who need projects done around the house with teens who want to gain work experience, job reference, or fulfill service hours. To learn more, call 651-747-3860. There are actually lots of volunteer opportunities for all ages in the city of Oakdale. If you're interested in learning more about ways to volunteer in Oakdale, call the city's volunteer coordinator at 651-739-5086. And finally, the Oakdale Recreation Department is hiring youth program instructors as well as persons interested in teaching a variety of classes. To learn more, call 651-747-3867. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back with more of Oakdale Update in just a minute.
It's about putting others first. It's doing your best at whatever you do. It's all of these. It's commitment. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, what's this?
Welcome back to Oakdale Update. I'm now joined by another new City Council member, Jake Ingebrigtson. Jake, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
Okay, we're going to start out by, I want you to tell me a bit about yourself, your education and that sort of thing.
Well, I grew up in Maple Grove till 9th grade, moved to Cottage Grove, went to high school there, have a bachelor's degree in finance from Metro State University. I'm a small business owner, unfortunately not in Oakdale. I would do it if I could. I'm married with 3 young kids, a 4-year-old daughter and 2.5-year-old identical twins.
Is that right?
Yep.
So 3 kids?
Yep.
Oh, good for you. You live in Oakdale then, I assume, right?
That would be correct.
That's right, okay. All right, so you've had some experience in local government. You were on the Planning Commission, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, how did that, well, first of all, let me ask you, what made you decide to throw your hat in the ring for council?
Well, I've taken an active interest in local politics dating back to probably 2008. I lived in St. Paul and was always paying close attention. There were some things that had happened in my neighborhood that I wasn't real thrilled about. And so I kind of, I wouldn't say I got actively involved, but I started to really pay close attention and had kind of made the conscious decision that, we had decided we weren't going to stay in St. Paul when we upgraded and started a family. So I kind of decided that once we moved, I was probably going to try and get involved.
Oh, good for you. So you started out with the Planning Commission, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, the day we made the offer on our house in Oakdale, I applied.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. So then they had happened to have a vacancy, and I ended up getting that. So.
Okay. So how was your experience on the Planning Commission?
I loved it. Planning is actually something that's really interesting. I guess I had never really realized how fascinating it is with zoning and everything else. I loved it.
So were you had to be involved with the comprehensive plan, this Oakdale's comprehensive plan?
Yep,
correct?
I was on the committee to develop the 2040 comprehensive plan and attended all the meetings. And that was, as much as it was great to be involved, it was also really informative and educational. It was a great experience.
So how did you, that experience, how did you take it back to the Planning Commission?
You know, planning is actually a big part of the comprehensive plan, and we did get some feedback from some of the other Planning Commission members as they were all on the committee as well. It was a deal where if you're on the Planning Commission, you're automatically on the committee. So. Yep, all the Planning Commission members were on there.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So, okay, that's a pretty good background. How did that, so far, how has that helped you on being on the council?
Well, you know, the council has the final say in most planning-related issues. Obviously, there's ordinance and state law and federal law in some cases that have to be followed, but it's just really helped me understand better what's going on when it comes to planning-related issues.
So, have you ever brought to the council an approval that you people did, and then they turned it down?
It hasn't happened, and I would think that would be extraordinarily
Pretty rare, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope, that has not happened.
Because you should know what is acceptable and not when you're doing in the planning commission.
Yeah, and
correct?
Emily Shively, our city planner, does a really good job. In fact, when I was accepted onto the planning commission, I sat down with her for almost a couple hours just going over everything.
Well, you did?
Yep.
On your own time?
Yep.
Before you got on the planning commission? Or
Well, I had been accepted, but it was,
okay.
I hadn't attended my first meeting, and she
Okay.
made sure that I was kind of up to speed on what the expectations were. And, you know, it's interesting that a lot of people think that the city council can just kind of do whatever they
Sure.
want in that regard, but, you know, you have to follow law, and you have to be able to legally justify decisions.
Absolutely.
So-
I'm on the EDC, and I know we're more of a, we help them with things. You know, things
Yep.
will come to us, and then we'll present them to the council,
Yep.
who obviously makes the final decisions. But
Yep.
those commissions are very important, aren't they? Don't
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, and you know, and the way in my mind I tried to frame everything when I was at a meeting is, I wanted to ask as many questions as I could. What questions would the council have?
Sure.
And that way they didn't have to ask them. They could take the information from the meeting and just make an informed decision.
Absolutely, that's good. So what do you think you can offer the city of Oakdale, our residents?
Well, my background in finance, you know, in the small business I own too, you know, really bringing a financial background and, you know, really looking over finances closely. We have Susie Warren, who the head accountant. She does a terrific job.
She
and
does.
And unfortunately, I think she's nearing retirement,
Yes.
and that's going to be a challenge to try and fill those shoes.
Yes, absolutely. And Susan, she's been here since she was in high school, I think. And Sue Berry is another one. She's
Yep.
been here since she was
Yep.
in high school. And when those two leave, I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
We're going to have to work. Okay, so speaking of finances now, one of the things that Oakdale prides himself in is low interest loans. You know, for people who want to remodel their houses and
Yep.
do that sort of thing. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's terrific. You know, and I know that they're partnered with the county on that. And one of the big challenges facing Oakdale too is aging housing stock. You know, if say a family like me wanted to move up from the mid-range housing to the higher end housing, that's been a challenge we face for a long time. And fortunately, I think the 3M development is going to really solve some of those problems. But you know, when you talk about the aging housing stock, it's a great opportunity for people to maybe upgrade, add on, remodel.
Yep.
Yep, I'm in 100% support of those programs.
And then there's another project, I think I know it's on the back burner someplace, the Century Avenue. The whole
Yep.
Century Avenue is older than grass, and we need
Yep.
to, and I don't know what the answer is, but is that on your in your headlights someplace?
It is someplace. I think that's probably 5 or 6 years out, and it's really hard for me to know exactly. I want to say for some reason 2025 pops into my head when we talk about the Century Avenue redo. It could be a little bit sooner, but I think it's 5, 6 years out yet.
Okay, I know our county commissioner Stan Kowalski. That's one of the things that he is very concerned about.
Yep.
And I think the county expand the road and get the properties along the way are old. They're
Yes,
so
they
old.
are. It's and I would hope to see some redevelopment along Century Avenue
Yes.
too. I know that there was a property owner along Century that was that owns an old the strip mall that either needs
Oh, yes.
serious upgrades or.
My property is right next to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm well aware.
Yep, and I think it'd be nice to maybe see some mixed use, maybe apartments along with the retail on the ground floor.
Absolutely.
That'd
That's
be
going to be that's coming up too soon. I think.
Yep.
I think there's talk going on there. Okay, so what are two of the priorities that you have for Oakdale coming up?
Well, one would be the 3M development, making I know that staff is in negotiations right now, making sure that the developer is in substantial conformity with what the council had decided. And I wasn't on the council when those decisions were made,
Sure.
but I want to make sure that we break ground on that as quickly as possible. And the other thing is making sure that people have peace of mind with drinking water. Our drinking water, it is safe now, but perception is reality in a lot of people's minds. And with the 3M settlement money, making sure that we can adequately, make sure that people are comfortable with the drinking water in Oakdale.
Yeah. Okay, and now you've been to a few meetings, two meetings or so?
Well, I was sworn in. I won a special election, so I was sworn in the first meeting after the election. I was sworn in November 13th, so I think I've been to 5 now.
5 meetings. Oh,
Yep.
You're an old hat at this.
I don't know about that, but
So how's it going? What's your thoughts?
it's going great. I love it. And I guess barring anything substantial, I'll probably run again in 2020.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, it's pretty much everything I thought.
Are you on a
it would
4-year, 2-year?
2-year.
2-year.
Yep.
Okay. 2-year commitment. Okay, so you're pretty happy so far.
Very,
then? You think this
very
is
happy.
gonna work?
Yep.
Okay. Now, as I asked Colleen before you here, the time commitment. Are you able to give the time that's necessary?
Absolutely. I'm fortunate I have the flexibility owning a business where if I need to be somewhere like here or a ribbon cutting, something like that I can attend. The time commitment actually is a little more than I thought it would be, but that's fine. It's not something that's an issue for me. And it's something I enjoy. I enjoy doing things like this. I've attended one ribbon cutting, the Nerf.
Oh yeah.
The Nerf Wars. I'm
Sure.
I should know the name of the business.
I can't think of it either, but that's okay.
Yeah, but really enjoyed it.
The one over by the Menards,
Yep.
right? Yes.
Yep. And it was a blast.
Dart
Escape.
There we go.
And it was a blast, by the way.
You did enjoy
yep,
it, huh?
Yep.
Oh, good. I hope they're successful.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's very
So-
good. So, okay, so you're happy so far? And,
Very.
And then you're working with the city staff, and that's
Yep.
a good deal, too,
Yep,
isn't it?
yep. Staff is terrific. Bart Fish, our city administrator, I think we're pretty fortunate to have him.
Absolutely.
He's, and I haven't been around long enough to really know the ins and outs of necessarily what he does. But, one advantage I know we have is that he's really good with people.
Oh, yes.
And that's a huge plus. He's not rough around the edges. He's
Oh,
really
right.
polished. And
No. And you know what? And Oakdale has been so fortunate over the years. We've never had any backstabbing and bad things going on. I mean, some other local communities have had to face, other than running a government, they had to face internal strife. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, and we met, the new council met at the beginning of December for breakfast one morning. And that was really the point I made, was that no matter what, even if we disagree, we got to make sure we get along.
Absolutely.
Because once those issues start, it's really hard to temper them down.
And mostly it's a personal thing. It's
Yep.
personal anger and that kind of thing.
Yep.
That's what happened in our neighbors to the east.
Yep.
Without mentioning any names. Okay, hey, we're out of time here, but I want to thank you and I want to wish you best of luck, because you got 2 years of a lot of stress and strain, I would think.
Yep.
Okay?
Hopefully more.
Hopefully more. Good for you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
We're almost out of time, but first, here are some upcoming events. Family Skating Day is scheduled for Saturday, March 9th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Tartan Arena. Bring the family to the arena right behind Tartan High School for an afternoon of free ice skating and hot chocolate. You must bring your own skates. And the indoor garage sale is set for Saturday, March 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Discovery Center. Start the garage sale season early. Shop indoors and find new and formerly new items from over 20 sellers. And if you're looking to sell, you can rent 2 tables for only $22. Space is limited and fills up fast, so please register by March 15th. That's all we have time for. this month on Oakdale Update. For everyone at the City of Oakdale, thanks for watching.